Welcome to Team Talk. I'm Craig Zimmerman, and we've got some fellows here that are very recognizable, we'll say, in the Marine City, St. Clair area. We got the Marine City baseball team coming off a huge season. And the nice thing is I don't have to look at somebody and guess what their name is. Coach Ryan Felax, Danny Vandeviver. We got Paul Muscat, and sometimes I even look here. No, it's Cooper Letson. Welcome in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks. Good to have you guys. Going into a season like baseball, you start training, 1st of March, middle of March?
Yeah, we do some preseason stuff in February and whatnot, but
so you're in the gym, you're in the, Michigan weather, you're dealing with, you got a good team, but you're just starting to gel a little bit. You start the season off, and it's probably you're playing your first handful of games in 34-degree weather. Is that right?
Well, believe it or not, I think
like that.
Our first game actually this year, you guys remember, was 70. Against Croslex. I think we beat Croslex 1-0. It was 70, and then after that, I don't think we saw a day above 35 degrees until after spring break. It was terrible.
Right.
But yeah.
So it's the type of thing in a baseball season. Early on, you almost can't get your rhythm because of the cold, right?
Yeah, it feels that way.
Definitely plays a factor along with that.
So then you get into you get into a stride through April into May, and that's probably where, as a coach, you want to see it start getting into a rhythm.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously you want to win the league, and everybody in our league is out to get us. Yep. Coming into this year, we had 3 in a row. We ended up going 11-4 this year, and we won our 4th in a row. And it came down to the wire. I mean, it just literally came down to Woods Tower upsetting Lanphier. We all couldn't believe it. So It came down to an upset. But once the league season ended, I felt like we were rolling, and then we had we had kind of a rough weekend. We went across the west side of the state. We went over to Coloma, played a couple games over that way, and I decided I was going to, Coop didn't catch at all. Paulie, I think, only played a little bit, and Danny, these guys, I was kind of giving them a rest.
Right. Getting
some other guys in, and I mean, we fell flat. I mean, and I was really worried. I was like, man, did we just screw this up?
Are you coming out of it or not?
Yeah, and so, I mean, they came out of it well after that, but it was a little bit of a scare. But, it's kind of like the Tigers right now, right? I mean, you go through, it's a long season. You go through those lulls and just hope that you hit your stride. And I feel like, honestly, I think we really hit our stride once the playoffs started because, what was it? We played Almont. Senior night, we played Almont, and we split with them, but really we probably should have lost both. I mean, we played terrible against Almont. They beat us the first game, and Noah Northrup goes up and throws a Greg Maddox-like game up there. And so he went the distance, and we ended up beating Almont, and that's kind of where we started rolling, was at that point, and that was right at the end of the season.
Then you get into playoff format, and playoff format is a difficult thing because it's one and done. Yeah. I mean, you play a crappy game, you're going home. So I noticed in watching you guys play all the way through, it's one of those teams where it seemed to be a real team and not led by 1 or 2 superstars. There was contributions from just about every angle you can get, right?
100%.
Yeah, everywhere. They, you look at, we started with Clintondale, and I knew we needed to save arms, and so I threw Reese Hopkins. Reese probably only threw 8 or 9 innings all year, and he went up there, and we knew that we could beat Clintondale, but he did a real great job. Then you go into Elginak, and Danny pitched that one, but we got, I think, was that the game? I think Gabler had a couple of hits in that game.
That was Luther Northwest.
Oh, was it Luther Northwest?
Just somebody else coming out.
It was always somebody. Like, it just seemed like everyone contributed throughout the course of this run in some way. And, these guys have been incredible for 3 years, Coop for 4 on the varsity team, but, we don't get to where we got with just these 3 guys.
Sure.
There was a lot of contributions throughout the course of the playoffs.
How many times do you see in, a regional game, a freshman starting pitcher? Right?
Yeah.
Almost never.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and that was the game Coop was just referencing because that was Lutheran Northwest, and you don't want to look past anyone.
Right.
And the main reason I threw Tucker in that game was because I didn't think they were expecting Tucker. I actually thought they were expecting Danny. Mm-hmm. I figured they were prepping for Danny because Danny was eligible to pitch again, and I figured they're going to prep for a lefty. And we went with Tucker, and Tucker was just a dog. He just did what I don't know how that kid. He just. I always say he's a senior.
Give him the ball.
Yeah, here he is,
Yeah.
and he gave us 4 or 5 good innings, and that was the game. I think Gabler, Colin Gabler, who's our 9-hole hitter, he had 2-3 hits in that game, and what was it, 6-2? We won. It was a close game all the way through, but it's just contributions from everyone.
Well, that game though, when you look at it from a fan's perspective, it never looked like you guys weren't in control of it.
Right.
Right. And that's got to be a big thing from a player standpoint, right?
I don't know how you guys felt. I mean,
I felt going into that game like I knew we were going to win. Like I didn't have a doubt. Like I knew 100% that we were better than them, that they didn't have anything better than we did.
As long as you play your game.
Right, as long as we
don't throw the ball around.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like people asked me right from the start, like, I mean, even before the last weekend, what do you think? What are your chances? I said, we're going to win it.
I remember I talked to you.
Yeah, we're going to win the whole thing. But like, in the course of a game, once the first pitch is thrown, as a coach, I never feel comfortable. I mean, I never feel comfortable. But Tuck thing with Tuck that game, if you go back and watch or you look at the stats, I mean, they had base runners.
Oh, yeah.
He walked guys, he plunks guys. Tucker, sometimes I think he just hits guys for fun. I mean, he just
he gives himself a challenge.
Yeah, he does. And maybe he likes pitching out of the stretch. I don't know, but Tuck was really good that game, and we did just enough to win. But I agree, we were a better team. But the preparation for that was fantastic. It goes to these guys all.
They lead the group.
I mean, I can tell them what to do, but if they don't do it, because that game we went into it with we were trying to get ready for a slow throwing lefty.
Right.
And we really got lucky because really Lutheran Northwest and Millington pretty much threw this exact same type of pitcher against us. So we really prepped on the machine for a slow throwing lefty. Kid threw like a slurve kind of, and these guys set the tone at practices. And it's, as a coach, you can go in and tell them what to do, but if you don't have senior leadership and guys setting the tone with expectations, and these guys just lead by example too. Right. But it's, we definitely felt like we were prepared for that. And, and going into Millington, we felt the same way.
The other thing is that, yes, you've heard it 1,000 times, we're a football school and all that, but you look at your 3 leaders here, and what did they do last fall? Mm-hmm. Played against the big team that won the state championship. Yeah. So you've been in big time positions of playing games, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that plays well in a regional or a semifinal game when the chips are down and you got to produce, right?
100%.
I mean, we were always in baseball. I felt like we were always the underdog. In football, like people knew who we are. In baseball, nobody knew about us. Like we didn't. The pressure wasn't on us. Yeah. There was no pressure on us. It was on the other people not to lose to us.
I don't think anyone still knows about it. I talked to a guy the other day, and I told him I was the head coach at Marine City, and he went to Dakota, and he's this pitching coach guy, and we were talking about the season, and I mentioned the state final game, and you guys went to state finals? I was like, well, yeah, Dakota was there. He's like, yeah, I know Dakota made it. He had no idea. I was like, that's fine, you know. But yeah, it's a football school. I mean, that's all the credit to Coach Bob and Scar and Ron and Darren for building that program to where it is. But I don't mind picking up a little hardware for
Well, and I think that permeates through the school too. I've always said that, like, if you have a good football season in September, October, November, that sort of carries into even basketball season and other things going on in the school. You guys live it, so
100%. Yeah.
That's a key thing. And in those moments when you need senior leadership, and not just you 3 guys, but some of the other guys that maybe were platoon players, right?
Yeah. Right, 100%.
Absolutely.
Because some of those guys played a lot of downs in football, maybe not so much at baseball, but when you needed them, you counted on them.
Yeah, Noah Northrup was the one, like I said, against Almont. I mean, the kids, going to Saginaw Valley to play some football, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I think that's a big part of it is the seniors that these guys are used to playing like when you go to a football game on a Friday night, it doesn't matter who you're playing, the crowd's big.
Yeah.
Like they're used to coming out of that tunnel, seeing the crowds and being in front of those types of crowds. I mean, Paul Coop and Danny especially, they've done it for years. Yep. And so when you get to Michigan State and all of a sudden, the lights are a little bit, before the semi game, I remember telling them like, hey, bases are 90 feet. The
Same
mound is
size.
60 foot 6 inches. I didn't go full Hoosiers and get out a tape measure, but I probably could have done that. But no, it's the exact same size, and these guys are used to it. And they weren't. I don't think they were like starstruck by it. You know,
the moment
they're
was
just
not too big.
No,
right.
No moment is too big for these guys, and they're going to continue to prove that throughout their lives.
Yep. So you've won 4 consecutive MAC Gold titles. We talked about that. Two district titles in the last 3 years. Big games there.
Mm-hmm.
You go
beat
into
St. Clair 2 years ago, 2-1. Shout out to my boy Zach Tetler. Definitely, Zach put together one of the best performances I've seen, individual performances in that game. And then last year, I mean, we lost to Richmond 7-4 in the regional semi, or I'm sorry, the district semi, and I believe Richmond went to the state semis last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we were right with
there.
Richmond,
Right.
you know, and we dropped down a division this year, but we're where we need to be. We're where we should be. We've only got 450 people in our kids in our school. I mean, but yeah, I mean, the district 2 years ago was real special, especially beating St. Clair and Lutheran North. Those are two teams that we really like to beat. And then, you know, last year we played tough, and these guys came out and being able to play Algonac in the district final this year was great too, because Algonac has sort of set the tone around here the last 3-4 years as being that program, right?
Sure.
And so to be able to beat them was kind of cool. So it's been a nice run here.
So it seems to me that one of the big things too is that now you know what it's like all the way through. Okay, like your dad coaching football, it's when you go for the first time, you maybe don't know it beforehand, but now you know I got to get by these teams, and once I get there, you know, we're in the right realm here.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of it is just getting the kids to believe they belong.
Right.
And I remember year one, and Coop would remember this, and you guys probably all remember it, right? I told them at one point, I said, I don't see football players here. I see really good baseball players. You know, you're not just football players playing baseball.
Right.
You know, and it's just, this is no discredit to what those guys have done with the football program. I will be on the sideline in the fall. I'll be, their biggest fan.
Sure.
You know, but when it's baseball season, like we can play that too. You know.
Tell the story to our viewers. The issue of like the teamwork thing, and the scenario that played out as I think it was the national anthems being played or whatever it was, and you found out you didn't have helmets.
Oh man, that was something.
Because it tells a story about how.
Like I honestly, I just got goosebumps.
Right.
Like I did. I got goosebumps. So I mean, I could go down the list of every single kid on the team and just things that they brought to the table. We mentioned Noah Northrup before, and he's a senior that probably wanted to play a little bit more, but he was kind of a track first kid this year. But I mean, he was the loudest, most obnoxious. I mean, in a good way. I mean, for us, for the most part. I wouldn't say it was always in a good way. I had to tone it down a little bit a few times, but everybody on the team brought something. So we're at the state championship game, and we go through our IO and getting ready to announce the lineups, and we of course were the away team because we were for I lost 7 consecutive coin flips. That's pretty incredible. But anyways, so we're hitting first, so we're getting ready to hit and talking. Danny, Coop are our first 3 hitters, and they look over and they're like, "Coach, we don't have helmets." And the problem is the bus isn't, it's at Michigan State. The bus isn't just parked.
No, it's around.
It's all the way around on the other side. And so, as a coach, I'm ticked off.
At
right?
this point,
because my head was about to explode. Because I told them when we got off the bus, I said, "Guys, baseball's helmets. That's all you got to get. Baseball's helmets."
Did you know they were on the bus?
Yeah, we knew where they were. But so I'm like upset, and I'm trying to think like, okay, who am I going to is there going to be a freshman? And just, I don't know, he's like Superman. I mean, he like the flash, just all of a sudden you see number 6 just across the field. And he did. I mean, he sprinted out of the dugout.
He's gone.
He sprinted out of the dugout. Easton Laboon. Easton Laboon's a senior that didn't play much, especially near the end of the year.
Right.
He wasn't a part of our lineup in the run. But this kid just took off, and he's just gone. And I'm thinking there's no way. The bus is going to be locked. And
right. Then
so we announce the teams, the names. We go through all the way to get the starting lineup. It gets to Easton, number 6, Easton Laboon, and I'm sure his mom's up there, Courtney's
ready
up there, ready to take a
picture.
picture, and like, where's Easton? He wasn't there. Went through all of our lineup, and then all of the St. Francis lineup, and finally, right as we were just about to start the game, I see Easton come through the gate. Well, it turns out he went out to the bus, and the bus
locked.
it was locked. It was locked. Everything was locked. There was one compartment, so they were under the bus, and we had a one of the big buses. And they were under there. He said all the compartments were locked. He got up to a front compartment, opened it, crawled in, and maneuvered his way through, grabs the helmets, drags the helmets out, and comes back. And he did say there was a guy in a golf cart that gave him a ride a ride on the way back. But, I mean, that story is, I'll tell the story.
Yeah.
I'll tell the story, it's just like Dakota's 3 outs in an inning. I'll tell that story as
Oh,
long as I
my.
can.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that one in a minute. But I mean, I think it says a lot about just about the chemistry that this team had and about the types of kids we have in Marine City.
Mhm.
I've said it for years and years. I just think it's a special type of a group of kids that, and not just this year's teams, there's kids like that all around, but
Right.
this group of seniors is incredible. For a senior, I mean, that's not a
Right.
freshman saying,
Right.
I gotta, that's a senior saying, I'm going to do what I can. And he sure did, man. He came back and he got the helmets,
Yep.
so it's
Cool
awesome.
story.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Easton, yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dakota dropped inning.
I'm so
This
sorry.
is one of those things that until I heard the story, it's like, wait a minute, how did this happen? Go ahead and tell the story.
Oh God.
So
we're playing. Where are we playing?
Roseville.
Okay, we're playing at
Roseville.
Roseville, and Dakota leads off. We're winning this game. It was a game we had in hand. He leads off the inning with a strikeout. And so then we bat through the order, and he comes up again, and there's runners on second and third, and he hits a nice deep fly ball. There was only the one out, his first out, and he sack fly. So his second at bat, at least, was a sack fly. He made the
Right.
second out. And I remember looking over at Jake, and I kind of was yelling at Jake Hassan, my first base coach. I was like, "Hey, Jake," and I was holding up 2, like, "Hey, Dakota just made the first 2 outs." And I'm like, "It's kind of funny, right?"
Never see
if
it
this were
happen.
beer league softball, he'd be
Buying around.
Buying around. That's right. So I'm thinking there's just okay, he made
End
2
of that
outs in it.
story.
That's the end of the story.
Right.
Not so much.
Nope.
So we just start hitting again.
We're still in the same inning.
Same inning,
Same
yeah.
inning.
So then, and I think like St. R had 2 hits, Andrew St. R Easton had a couple hits, and all of a sudden we just start hitting again. And somebody had said to me like, well, because it comes around, it goes through the top of the order, because the top of the order is Tuck and Danny and Coop, Paul, and then I think it was Emmett, and then it got.
And
to
you're
Dakota.
thinking on deck circle, right?
Somebody said to me, well, why didn't you pull him out, right? Why didn't you put somebody in to hit for him? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1,
Well.
I wanted to see him make history. That was incredible. I wanted to make. I'm not gonna lie. But number 2, I had already subbed everybody out.
Right.
That inning,
Right.
we scored 20. Like what? We scored
15
15
runs.
in that inning.
Right.
So Dakota came up, and the dugout. I wish we had it on camera. I really do,
right.
because
Like, what's the chance?
Well, these guys were all just hope, because he got to 2 strikes.
Oh yeah.
He got to 2 strikes, and I think we all wanted him to strike out.
Did he know?
Oh, he knew.
He Trust me, he knew right from the start, and he ends up.
And let's step back and just say Dakota Dropton is a good athlete. Plays football, plays basketball, plays baseball.
What
So-
was it? I mean, and
Just
against
happens.
Lansing Catholic, he had 2 huge RBI singles. Dakota's a huge part of our team,
Right.
which makes this even better. But he came up, and I mean, he hit a rocket his third at bat in the left center gap, and kid out in left field just makes this beautiful running catch, and Dakota just dropped. He just kind of stops and puts his head down. And I mean, these guys celebrated like they just won the World Series.
Clapping, jumping up and down.
No, they met him. They ran out on the field and were like, congratulating.
Well,
him.
he
So-
will be in the record book at Marine City High School for eternity.
That's that's a state record. No one's ever done that. I mean, that's just
3
something.
outs in an inning by
Yeah.
one player.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
on offense.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We've got. Let's talk before we get to the personal things here. Let's talk about the final game. Didn't end like you wanted it to, but it's a baseball game, and I was there. I watched the game. It was one of those games that one little thing here or there could have changed the trajectory of the game. And not only could one thing change the outcome, but they were up, 4-0?
Yep.
And they were probably on cruise control thinking, oh,
Yep.
this game's over.
Yep.
And I think did they have 2 outs when the guy threw the ball to first base and we got on with an error?
Yeah.
There was 2 outs. That
Scored,
was 1-2 runs.
I think
yeah.
scored 2 runs, then we come back and we're only trailing by a run.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. And, they happened to make a couple more hits in spots that there were no players.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
it.
we actually, I think, I don't know this, but I think we only struck out 5 times in the game. There's 21 outs. That means we put the ball in play 16 times, and they made plays, right?
Right.
They made plays. I know Lucas DeSmither was 0 for the game, but he had several balls that were hit hard. And like even Danny's last hit, he made the last out there. It looked like it might have a chance
Get
to
through.
get into right
Right.
field. I just kept thinking, if we just get a guy on base.
Yeah.
Pass
ball,
we got kids that can bunt. We got kids, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how we won the semifinal, was a little bit of small ball, and it wasn't in the cards, but I don't know.
But that's baseball. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you've won games like that.
And truthfully, I mean, you look back at it. I mean this respectfully. I mean, we could have lost to Algonac. I mean,
Right.
like Algonac, we only beat 5-4.
earlier.
Yeah, it was that close. But St. Francis is good.
Oh, yeah.
They're a good team, but we were right with them. But
Yeah.
sometimes it happens.
I asked Surrey on my phone what the population of metropolitan Traverse City is. It's about 150,000.
Don't get me started.
Well, so
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let's be
We
real.
were
I
right
mean,
there.
The best athletes in the greater Traverse City area go to St. Francis.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, those are the best athletes.
Yeah.
And if you look up and down those lineups all throughout every division, you got Division 1, 2, 3
yeah.
guys. I mean, you got a kid that got drafted, a kid from the Western. Obviously, that's Division 1, but even so, like every lineup, you look at, there's tons of college level talent, and we got a couple guys playing at SC4 next year, and that's that. I mean, it is genuinely I told these guys right from the start, right after, it was either after or before Algonac, I'm not sure, but I said, the one thing that you guys have that other teams don't, and it's purpose. You guys have purpose because you guys have been playing together since you were little. A lot of these teams have not, I said,
Right.
just you guys have purpose and you want to win for each other, and I really thought, that's why I didn't think we would lose that game until that kid caught the ball at second base.
Right.
In my heart, in my head, I had already won it. I'd already pictured it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so that was tough. Still. It's
Well,
still
and if you
kinda
look,
tough, yeah.
I looked at it just from a perspective when they're warming up, and I see not 1, not 2, but maybe six or so kids that are like 6'2",
Oh, yeah.
230,
Oh, they're huge.
sculpted
Big kids.
bodies.
Oh, yeah, they were. It was ridiculous.
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, let's talk about the postseason awards.
Okay.
Cooper Letson, first team All-State, 4th in school history. That's a cool thing, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Got something to hang over your dad's head too.
Oh, I
right?
got a lot to hang over his head.
Hey, I didn't say that. Sorry.
I think 3 of these,
I
right?
got 3 on him.
Yeah.
Career batting average of 392, 112 RBIs, 3-time All-League and All-District. Senior year, you were 6-1 on the mound, 3 saves, and a 0.59 ERA.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Coop, we kind of started liking the pitching thing a little bit, hey?
Yeah, I mean, first barn, open barn, open gym, whatever you want to call it, picked up balls, like, try
I
and
can do
pitch. Yeah. Figured it out as the year went on, turned out
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, and last year, he pitched. He started a couple games for. Last year, I started messing with this concept of the opener,
Mhm.
like the pros do, and I had Coop open. I remember, I think it was Lance Cruz, the first
Yeah.
one he opened for, and there was a couple different games that he opened for because I thought, if I know he throws hard, if he can get through those first 2 innings,
Right.
then we bring in somebody else. It kind of worked,
Yeah,
But then this year, he worked his way up. So
Yeah.
he had a great year on the mound.
great
And
season,
in his
yeah.
career, I don't have career stats or leaders or whatever, but I'm about 99% sure that and I will figure it out eventually, but the 112 RBIs in a career is definitely a school record. And his total hits, I think, is a school record too. It's somewhere around the same 100 and some, but
To be determined, we'll figure that out.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
I'm in the process of trying to figure all that out. But also threw out 50 base runners as a catcher in 4 years. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Paul Muscat, honorable mention, All-State, 3-time All-League and All-District, career .358 with 12 wins on the mound and .225 ERA. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Paulie, what's I kind of we laugh about this a lot. I say, he's had an incredible career, and I believe his sophomore and junior year, he did not lose a league game on the mound. I think he was 11-0, and he had a little bit of arm issues this year, so he didn't pitch as much. But Paul, career highlight, what was it? What was the moment? What was your moment?
Hitting the go-ahead RBI single against St. Clair in the semifinal in the district.
Yeah, district semi as a sophomore.
Yeah.
He was, I think you were hitting the 9-hole, right?
Yeah.
He was the 9-hitter. We had runners on second and third with 2 outs, and Paul, we were down 1-0, and probably the 5th inning, and Paul hits a 2-run single, little sophomore, 2-run single, and so we're going to have another sophomore Muscat up on that team next year, so hopefully he can.
And that's the funny thing about baseball in that, you can have your 4-hitter hitting 450, 500, but in a given situation like that, you need your guy to perform.
Yeah, I mean, Tetler was batted 500 that year as a second-team All-Stater, but, when it comes down to it, when you have the runners in scoring position, here's go get him, Paulie.
Yeah.
He did.
Danny Vandeviver, 3-time All-League, All-District, career .328. On the mound, you had 19 wins in your career with a .238 ERA and 158 strikeouts. That's a big year and a big career.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Danny is. I don't know that the 19 wins is a career record. The only other I know, Scotty Harris, a few years back, I think he had 9 in a season, but I don't think he threw for 3 years. So if I can ever find those stats, I'll check it out. But that's very close. He's got to be top 3 all time in school history, and a lot of. And here's the thing with Danny, you got to know is that his career record I think was 19-10, I think, but I pitched him against all the best teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think there was one time this year. Didn't you get a couple wins in a row against? Was it Roseville? Did you win 2 against Roseville this year? I think it was, or maybe it was Tower. I don't know. I think that was probably the only time in his career he pitched against the easy team. And he always threw against the hardest teams. And so 19-10, but that's a kid that's throwing against the best.
Right.
So
now, how do you two guys as pitchers? Who's calling the pitch? You guys pitching or the catcher?
It's always Coop.
Always Coop.
Mm-hmm.
How often are you waving him off?
Maybe once a game.
Okay.
That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
I wave him off more than I should, just because I don't like throwing the curveball as much. So
well, you probably should.
You're right. I get uncomfortable and don't like throwing the
I got
curveball.
trust in Coop.
So in baseball, the catcher calling the ball, giving signals to pitch what? Are you taking any information, the data, from anything like you do football?
I mean,
Like huddle?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I
Just
mean,
from memory.
there's a lot of it's memory. I mean, hell, being around for all 4 years, so
Right.
I saw everybody going up. But just like high school baseball, the top 4 or 5 guys are always the best ones, so that's who you want to pitch backwards or mix your stuff up more. Then as you get to the bottom, you can go right at them.
No.
Coop does a good job too with seeing things. You got a kid crowding the plate, he knows you're going to jam him in. If he was away, let's hit. If the kid's off the plate, pitch him away. Pitch to their weakness. I mean, and Coop was great at that. And I've just been completely spoiled for the last 3 years. There's no question. Next year I will be calling pitches most of the time.
Okay.
Sorry, Dukas.
Now these two guys here pitching, do you have different pitches that are your, say, go-tos or no?
Danny?
Or both the same?
I have my curveball, or I throw my curveball more for a strike, I would say, and then my change up is more of my kind of my out pitch, I would say.
Okay.
Has more of a drop to it, so it's more of my strike 3 call, I should say.
You actually had a couple different curves, right? I mean, this year he started working on getting a little more. He's got a big ephus-like curve, and then he kind of worked on a little bit of a cutter, kind of a little bit sharper, and so. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you're obviously the best Vandeviver in the family, right? I mean,
probably, I would say it's Lisa.
Wow.
Lisa's, I mean, she's the nicest one at least. I'm just kidding. It was a plot switch.
Now, Paul, you better say you're the best, out of your family because your brother's younger.
Some would say. I'm not gonna make
And
any
your
claims.
sister doesn't play,
Oh.
boys sports. So,
No.
you're the best in your family.
Gotta be.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. His old man's a pretty good ball player. But yeah, I think Coop's got Darren. But yeah, and that's the kind of a unique thing, especially with Danny and Paul, is that there's Danny's older brother Josh was on our team, and then now next year his younger brother Jacob will be a 9th grader coming into the program, either on JV or varsity. I mean, I'm going to be, I've only got 5 guys returning next year, so I got 5 guys that are 11th or 12th graders, but. I mean, their dad Dan is put up the barn.
That was the next thing I was going to talk about,
Yeah.
is the fact that not only does Danny do a great job, but his dad made a little bit more commitment than most.
You think?
Well,
That's why I said Lisa was the nicest one in the family, because
To
she
allow
allows
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh, she's got to be crazy.
Yeah, and
No,
what we're
but
talking about is the barn that you guys practice in, all year long.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, we used to practice in a gym, but the barn just got. I mean, there's so many more things. It's
Right, you can
small,
do.
but there's so many more things that you can do.
Right.
It's a little bit crowded at times, but the barn is incredible.
Yeah.
And Dan being able to just kind of just build that thing and just say, hey, use it, then it makes a huge difference. We drive there, we go there before games a lot of times and get our swings in, and it's been a godsend. And Dan's been helping me for the last 3 years as well, and he does a good job now. Now that he doesn't have Danny barking at him, it'll be a little bit easier for Dan in the dugout.
Okay.
I guess a little
Should be easier for him.
it gets a little
Okay.
touchy sometimes.
Okay. Great season, all the way through. I think you got some photos here
Yeah,
we want to show.
sure.
We'll show some photos, talk about what happened here.
Well,
know who
this
these
is
guys are.
well, this is the 4 of us. That's
Yep.
kind of fun. So you can see that's actually in the barn. So
Yep.
you got the people are signing in the back of it, but
A lot of dents.
There's
lot
one or
of
two.
dents.
There's one or two, and let me tell you, when it hits, it's loud. But yeah, you got Paulie, Coop, and myself holding the 3 trophies. They get progressively bigger, and then Danny is holding. I actually put that. It's in the trophy case right now. The final out of our first regional title. And that was against who? Millington? Against Millington. So, so we had the 3 trophies in the final out in that one, and that was at our banquet in the barn.
Okay. There.
There we go. Big props
Pile.
big props to Rich Lamb at the PI Advance. So Presque County Advance. He was out at the game, and this is against Olivet. I believe Blunden. You can see right in the middle. You got number 6. There's Easton LeBoon. He's giving a big bear hug to Blunden. Blunden had just caught the
Last out.
last out, and instead of holding the ball like a normal person, he chucked it into the I don't know where
Where
he
it
chucked
is.
it. But yeah, you got a lot of the guys. You got Wes Pretzer there, number 18. You see Noah on the left.
That's on top of me.
Yeah,
That one didn't feel good.
yeah. This was a couple seconds after this. There was a lack of breathing on the bottom of the pile. But you see Lucas DeSmither there and Connor O'Croy. And, Connor O'Croy did a great job for us defensively. Oh, that's Augusta. Sorry. That's Augusta. But Connor O'Croy did a great job, too. Defensively, played second base and made a couple real big plays. Actually, in this game, he made a couple big plays. But those are my seniors. So I'm going to go left to right so everyone kind of gets props here. You got Noah Northrup is on the far left. First base / pitcher. Andrew St. is a first baseman. Mike Blunden was our right fielder all year. Mike Blunden, number 13 there, didn't even play last year as a junior, and he came out. He, besides these 3, had the highest batting average on the team. So Easton LeBoon, number 6, the aforementioned Easton LeBoon. You got Paul there in the middle, number 1. Coop's number 8. Danny's number 2. You got Colin Gabler there, number 15, the crazy one that plays third base. He somehow about at the end of the year, he decided he was going to Soto shuffle every single ball he took. I don't know where it came from, but he was having a good time with it. And then there's O'Croy, number 4, and Landon Augusta down there at the end, number 7. So those are our seniors. So we got 10 of them.
There you go.
I thought this was cool. This is neat. I had to throw that up
Is
there.
that minor league or little league?
This is look at, oh my gosh, Paul, you're on the Blue Jays. So that's Paulie on the right wearing the Blue Jays. Coop in the middle is a Red Sox, and Danny, I don't think you deserved an actual major league team. What team was that?
I don't think
man?
I was there quite yet.
Yeah,
White
you
Sox?
look-
He's
that
the
the
White
Tigers?
Caps. He's the Miners.
What is that? What team was it though? Was that the Tigers?
It
or
looks
not?
like the Tigers.
So you had the Tigers, the Red
Going
Sox,
look.
and the Blue Jays. The funny thing is actually Danny his hitting form is actually better in that picture than it was
Yeah, it
all
is.
year. Paulie showing off his changeup grip. I don't know what Coop's doing there. He's just yeah, there they are. So that's just a little thing I put out on Twitter for Coop. And the one thing I want to point out, and I think you'll see it in all these photos, except for maybe Paul's because we didn't get a good one, but the level of intensity that these guys had, especially these three, but it was the whole team.
Yeah.
It was the whole team, but you can see Coop. My favorite pick of Coop is the top left one there, where he just after getting a big hit, these guys they weren't afraid to celebrate, right? And they didn't do it in a way that was showboaty. They just we were a big moment, right? And there's Paulie.
Wait a minute, who's that guy in the mustache?
That
was before.
that's right.
Before senior pictures.
Yeah, Paulie's got the mustache. So Paulie, the thing about Paul is that he's played all over the place. I think were you left fielder? Sophomore year, he was actually our left fielder.
A little bit of infield too.
Yeah, a little bit of second base. I think he stole 25 bases this year. So up in the upper right, you can see him rounding third. Hopefully not tripping there. Making a throw across the diamond there and pitching in the lower right. There he is making contact. Props to Jen Whitaker for those pictures there. And this was Danny's. And what I wanted to point out too is the photo in the top left there. Again, the level of intensity that these guys brought to the table and just the passion. I remember I was talking to Courtney LeBoon about that as she texted me and said, I just love their passion. And that's how it is. And I'm not sure what's going on in the lower left. If that was in the outfield, it's a pretty sweet shot. But just pitching. I tried to get one of fielding, pitching, and you can see all of his accolades down there. And I put on the bottom, the ultimate competitor, because that was Danny, even though sometimes he got in his own way. But his nickname is Big Cheddar. I have no idea why, but
I can tell a story.
Is this something we can add?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Why is his name Big Cheddar?
We were on our way to Myrtle Beach for a baseball tournament in the summer, and was this 6th grade or 7th? I don't know. We were real young, and we had nothing better to do, so Danny made a helmet of a cheddar goldfish box and cut out eyes in it, so we called him Big Cheddar.
Big Cheddar. I had no idea.
I wore that thing all around North Carolina. Everywhere we went.
South Carolina. So that's why you call him Big Cheddar?
Look at these oldsters.
Okay, so this is a really cool photo.
I know what this is.
So when Coop got his All-State award, I wanted to kind of tie it all in, and I went back in the annals of all of Marine City baseball, and I showed you the file. I'm trying to put together a history, and I found out that there's only 4 first-team All-Staters in school history. And they're all listed here. Now, the fun, Tim McConnell is on the left. I kind of, he's sort of like the face of Marine City baseball, right? Tim McConnell is a legend. Got drafted up and played for the Tigers there in the minor leagues. But and then there's Coop. That's Brent Weil, who is the only 2-time All-Stater. There is a story about that, and I'll hook Timmy up in a minute. But then there's Alex Kroll. The funny thing about these guys is that they're all catchers. Now, Tim, when he got elected as an All-Stater, was elected as an infielder, but the other 3 were all elected as catchers, even though Tim was a catcher, but I think at that year he was an infielder. So Tim tells the story, and because I introduced them all, and I said, hey, Brent's the only 2-time All-Stater. I said, and then second-team All-State, Tim was second-team All-State his junior year. Zach Tetler, and who am I missing? There was one other one. Tetler. Oh, Brendan Kay in 07. Yeah. So those are the only 2-time. Well, Tim kind of made sure, he told me, he's like, well, he actually has a letter at home. He said that when he was a junior, because back then the All-Staters would get to play at Tiger Stadium. When he was a junior, he was basically told that, his numbers warrant him being a first-team All-Stater, but because he's a junior, he'll be back here next year. They said, we're going to give him second team. Oh. And he did have a letter. So, and obviously anybody that knows Tim knows that he probably was, there's no question. I wouldn't question that at all. But on paper, he was an All-Stater one year and a second team another year. But yeah, Weil had it a couple times. All these guys were catchers. And I remember one time I coached Brent Weil in a summer league game back when they used to have the games up at Sanborn. He played one game for me. And I just needed a player, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll play for you." It was a wood bat league. He hit, and I had most kids barely could get it out of the infield with wood bats. Weil hit a ball in the left center gap. I remember his first at bat. I think it was the first pitch he saw, and it just made that different sound. And I thought, "Wow, this kid's something, right?" And so yeah, Weil was legit. But and all these guys, as catchers, you got to remember that's the hardest position on the field. Yep. And so, for Marine City to have sort of our 4 All-Staters as
field generals.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing, I think. So, yeah. We had all those guys show up at our team banquet.
That's cool.
I don't think you knew they were coming, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I told Darren. Darren kept the secret. That's good. But yeah, so I just thought it was a cool thing to invite them out. And I told Coop, I said, well, as long as you show up the next time we have an All-Stater,
yes.
and he said, I give you my word, I'll be there. And I said, all right, that's good.
Okay. Hey, that's a heck of a show. I think it's the longest one we've had, and it's the longest
because I don't shut up.
It's the longest because we've got all these accolades. Great team effort. Hopefully you passed on something to these underclassmen that they can carry on next year, and that's a good thing too. Good luck to you in college in the next endeavor.
Thank you.
We've got, and like I said, we've got more Muscats, more Van de Vivers. So we'll see what happens. And they actually, both of their brothers. I know Paulie's brother Luke will be up next year as a sophomore, and Jacob's.
He does not lack from confidence.
He's a good.
Am I right?
Well, I mean,
am I right?
So Paul, when you guys, I gotta believe that when you guys, play ball at home, like you're not nice to him, are you? Okay, I didn't think so.
No.
Well, I think that's why he is the way he is.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I let him know, and then when he gets his little success happens once in a while, he lets me know about
Yeah.
it. So.
Okay. That's why sibling rivalry.
I think Danny is actually probably nicer to Jacob, though. Are you nice to Jacob?
I'm nice to Jacob.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's so strange. The Van de Vivers are strange folks.
Okay.
They're all nice to each other, and I can't
Figure it out.
I can't get behind that. I don't
Okay.
know.
Thanks, Coach Ryan Felax,
appreciate it.
Cooper Letson, Paul Muscat, and Danny Van de Viver. That's Team Talk. We'll see you next time.